Hello student. Today we will see the important chapter of RCC design subject, that is design of RCC slab. We will consider first what are the different types of slabs. First is one way slab. As the name suggests, the slab bends in only one direction. That is known as one way slab. Then two-way slab. When the slab bends in two direction, it is known as two-way slab. And a cantilever slab. A cantilever slab, a slab which is supported only on one side and other side is free, that is cantilever slab. There are other types of slabs also, like continuous slab. The continuous slab is not included in the syllabus of diploma course of MSBT. So the continuous slab is not included in this lecture. Now let us consider first the what is aspect ratio. Aspect ratio is ratio of longer span to shorter span of the slab panel. Ly is longer span, Lx is shorter span. The ratio of longer span to shorter span is lambda, that is aspect ratio. And when it is greater than 2, we design it as one-way slab. So one-way slab panel which bends dominantly in one-way direction, only one direction, and when the aspect ratio is greater than 2. Here you will find that the slab is supported on the two parallel sides, on longer sides. See, the slab is supported on these two longer beams, and see, this is longer side and this is a shorter side, and the slab bends along shorter direction, along shorter side. So one way slab is supported on longer side beams. Main steel is placed at the bottom, that is in the direction of bending. Distribution steel, which is also known as secondary steel, is placed parallel to the longer span, and it is placed above the main steel. The load of one-way slab is equally shared by supporting beams which are perpendicular to the main reinforcement. Now, in case of two-way slab, the slab is supported on all the four edges. The slab is supported on all the four edges, and it is designed when the aspect ratio is less than or equal to 2. The main steel is placed at the bottom in both directions in the form of mesh, shorter direction as well as longer direction. The load is shared by supporting beams on all four sides. So it is a squarish slab. The aspect ratio is less than or equal to 2. Ly by Lx is less than or equal to 2. The slab bends in both directions, x direction as well as in y direction. And in two-way slab, we get two different types. Type number one is, you can see here, the corners are lifted up due to the loading. They are not held down, they are free to lift. So it is known as simply supported slab. Corners are free to lift. Whereas in the second case, corners are in position. They are not allowed to lift. It is known as restrained slab. Corners are held down. In our syllabus, the second type is mentioned. So we will design this second type, means restrained two-way slab. The type 1 is not included in the syllabus. And the third type is cantilever slab. In case of cantilever slab, the main steel is provided at the top like this. There is sufficient anchorage to this main steel so that the bar will not get pulled out due to tension, and the distribution steel is provided below this main steel, which is parallel to the supporting beam, whereas main steel is perpendicular to the supporting beam. So slab projects from supporting beam. Main steel at support is placed at the top. It is perpendicular to the supporting beam. Distribution steel is placed below main steel and it is parallel to the supporting beam. The load of cantilever slab is taken by only one support, that is this beam, only one support available. Now let us see the reinforcement details of each of these slab. Now these are the details of one-way slab. Here you can see that this is shorter span. This span is shorter span. And the main steel is provided. This is main steel along shorter span. This is longer span. So the distribution steel is provided along this longer span. This is distribution steel along longer span. The main steel is bent at a distance 0.1 L. The alternate bars are bent. One bar is bent on left side, other bar is bent on right side likewise. You can see the section AA, that is along shorter span. This section is along shorter span, whereas this section is along longer span. You can see main steel is at the bottom and this is the distribution steel. This distribution. You must mention the thickness of the slab in the plan, in the drawing. So this is details of one-way slab, whereas in this case details of two-way slab given. Here main steel is provided along both the direction, along X as well as along Y. The slab is shown on the drawing like this. This indicates it is two-way slab, whereas one-way slab is mentioned like this. This is the indication of one-way slab. This is the indication of two-way slab. Now, details of cantilever slab. As I told you, the main steel is provided at the top because it is subjected to hogging bending moment, and in case of hogging bending moment, tension is at the top. The sufficient length is embedded in the beam, supporting beam, which is known as LD, that we studied in the chapter bond. The distribution steel is provided parallel to the supporting beam, this 6 mm diameter. This is distribution steel. Here you can see that the thickness can be reduced at the free end because theoretically the bending moment at free end is 0. So there is no need of thickness of any slab at the free end as the bending moment is 0, but it is not practicable. So minimum thickness is provided at the free end. So you can taper down the thickness, you can reduce the thickness towards the free end. This is the details of cantilever slab. Now let us see the design process of each slab one by one. Let us consider first design process of one-way slab. Now to start with, we will check what is the aspect ratio. We will design the one-way slab when the aspect ratio Ly by Lx is greater than 2. Then in second step, consider span of the slab as shorter side of the panel, that is L is equal to Lx. Then in the second step, determine effective depth required. So D required. In this step, we find the value of D required. So D required must be greater than or equal to span, which is considered in step number 1, divided by basic L by D ratio. So basic L by D ratio is given by IS code IS 456-2000. It is considered from deflection point of view. This basic L by D ratio is considered from deflection point of view. Clause number 23.2.1. For one-way slab, it is considered as 20. For cantilever slab, it is considered as 7. Then, the modification factor, MF, it is equal to M1 into M2 into M3 into M4. Whereas, M1 depends upon the span. For the span up to 10 meter, you will consider M1 as 1. And if the span of the slab exceeds 10 meter, you can consider M1 as 10 upon span in meters. Remember, this is not applicable for cantilever slab. This is only for one-way slab. Then M2. M2 depends upon percentage of area of steel, which is given in figure number 4 of IS code. See, this is the figure number 4 of IS code, page number 38. On x-axis, there is percentage of tension reinforcement, and on y-axis, there is modification factor M2. So this chart gives you M2 value. So depending upon the grade of steel and percentage of tension reinforcement, you will decide the modification factor M2. Then M3. M3 modification factor depends upon area of compression reinforcement. On x-axis in this chart, this is given in figure number 5. On x-axis, percentage of compression reinforcement is given, and on y-axis, modification factor M3 is given. If there is no compression reinforcement, that means if it is 0, you will consider the M3 value as 1. So as we are considering the one-way slab without any compression reinforcement, we will always consider the value of M3 as 1. Then M4. M4 is the modification factor which is applicable for flanged beams. Flanged beams. That is L beam and T beam. For slab, M4 is not applicable. So we will not consider the value of M4. Now, after considering the value of modification factor, remember in examination, don't worry about these charts, because in examination, either they will directly give the value of modification factor M4, or if it is not given, you can assume the modification factor between 1.4 to 1.6. So remember, assume modification factor between 1.4 to 1.6 if it is not given in the examination. Okay, now next step is to find if capital D, that is overall depth. Overall depth is small d plus effective cover. For slab, you can assume effective cover as 20 to 25 mm. Then find D, capital D equal to small d, which is calculated in step number 2. plus effective cover 20 to 25 mm. Then consider the step number 3. Here we will calculate effective span of the slab. The effective span of the slab is clear span plus D or center to center distance between the support, whichever is less. So I will draw here the slab. Suppose this is the slab. These are the two supports. Then this we consider as clear span, and the center to center distance between the support is, this is center to center distance between support, whereas the effective depth is from top to the center of reinforcement small d. So how you will calculate the effective span? L effective is equal to clear span plus d or center to center distance between the support, whichever is less. So after calculation of effective span, the next step, that is step number 4, is calculation of loading on the slab. So we will determine loading on the slab, that is ultimate UDL per meter run of strip of width 1 meter. Always slab is designed for 1 meter width. First of all, we will consider the dead load or self weight on the slab, which is equal to 25 into D. 25 is unit weight of RCC in kilonewton per meter cube, fixed. Always you will consider 25. Whereas capital D is overall depth of slab in meter. Then live load. Live load depends upon the use of the slab. If it is residential building, floor slab, you will consider live load as 2 kilonewton per meter square. For public building, for floor slab, you will consider 4 kilonewton per meter square. And if it is a roof slab, access provided, you will consider 1.5 kilonewton per meter square. And if access is not provided, you will consider the live load as 0.75 kilonewton per meter square. Then floor finish, that is loading of tiling, waterproofing, etc. If it is not given in examination, you will consider the floor finish load as 0.75 to 1 kilonewton per meter square. Now add all dead load, live load and floor finish load to get W. Then multiply that W by partial safety factor for load 1.5 to get factored load WU, which is also known as ultimate load or design load. So WU is 1.5 times the working load W. Once you get the value of WU, in step number 5, calculate ultimate moment mu is equal to WU L effective square by 8. This we studied in our mechanics of structure subject. Simply supported beam loaded with UDL, then maximum bending moment is WL square by 8. Same formula. Mu is equal to WU L effective square by 8. Then equate this mu to mu max. Mu max depends upon grade of steel. For Fe250, mu max is 0.149 FCK BD square. For Fe415, mu max is 0.138 FCK BD square, whereas for Fe500, mu max is 0.133 FCK BD square. This we derived in chapter Design of Singly Reinforced RCC section. Now in this, always consider B as 1000 mm as we are designing the slab for 1 meter strip. So Equating mu to mu max and considering the B value as 1000 mm, find the D required. D required, check that this D required must be less than D assumed in the above steps. If it is less, D required is less than D assumed, then it is okay. Otherwise, you will have to increase the depth, assume greater depth, and revise the calculation from step number 3. Now let us consider this D required is less than D assumed, then we can proceed. Here in step number 6, we will find main steel, area of main steel. This is given by this formula. This formula we considered in design of singly reinforced beam to find AST. Put the proper values of FCK, FY, MU and B and D. Again, here B you will consider B value is 1000 mm and D which is assumed in step number 3. D assumed in step number 3. Not D required in step 3. After finding AST, assume diameter of the bar. It may be either 8 mm or 10 mm or 12 mm. Find area of one bar. A1 is the area of one bar which is used. Say 8 mm bar, then pi by 4 8 square. Then A1 is the area of one bar. Then AST is calculated from this formula. So find spacing S is equal to A1 upon AST into 1000. Check this spacing is not greater than. This is important. Check that the spacing calculated is not greater than 3D and it is also not greater than 300 mm. Then in step number 7, find the distribution steel. Area of distribution steel is say ASTD. ASTD is 0.15% of A gross. A gross you will consider as B into D. B is 1000, remember, and D that is calculated in step number 3, capital D. You will consider here overall depth, not the small depth, effective depth. You will consider here capital D. So ASTD is 0.15% of A gross for mild steel, that means Fe250, 0.12% of A gross for torch steel, that is Fe415 and Fe500. Assume 6 mm bar if mild steel is used and assume 8 mm bar if torch steel is used, and find spacing again by same formula A1 upon ASTD into 1000. Again check that the spacing is not greater than 5D and spacing is not greater than 450 mm. For distribution steel, this is the check. Now after deciding the value of capital D, the cover steel along shorter span, that is along main steel, steel along longer span, that is distribution steel. The next job is to draw the sketch of the details of the reinforcement. Now here this is Ly is the longer span, Lx is the shorter span. The orange color indicate main steel. The main steel is laid along shorter span, whereas the green bars are distribution steel. They are laid along longer span. The main steel, the alternate bar, is bent on either side at a distance 0.1 L from the face of the support. This is the plan and this is the section of the slab. Here you can see the details. This is main steel, this is distribution steel, the green distribution steel. You must indicate the thickness of the slab. This is section AA, that is along shorter span, and this is section BB, that is section along longer span. So you will indicate all the details of the reinforcement so that the worker can tie the reinforcement correctly. So this completes the design process of one-way slab. In the next lecture, we will study the design of two-way slab and cantilever slab. Thank you.